I love that you made a little pandemic films that looks like that. It's quite a project, and I can tell that it's really a Desplechin project, not just a small pandemic film.
Yeah, actually, it's good to. So many people told me after when you are doing a film, you have all this lot of screenings of editing, etc. They were saying, but it's not Philip Roth words, it's your words. I was saying, no, it's absolutely faithful to the book. It's just the book. And but yeah, there is a certain you where I can recognize myself and my own obsessions in this book, and even if it's not the major, if I'm thinking about the masterpieces of Philip Roth, like My Life as a Man or Shabbat Theater, etc. This one is very an humble book for those in the audience who didn't read it. It's much more like an essay rather than a novel. It's just the dialogues without the names, so it's not written she or he. So you have to guess who is speaking, and so it's quite abstract as a book. And it was an invitation to inhabit it and to do some mise en scène about it. If I would have to quote one line of the book that I love, it's you have little stars. Can you say stars? Asterisks, yes, and just a bit of a slice of dialogue, and asterisks, a slice of a longer one or shorter one, and you have one chapter that I loved like that between two asterisks. It was a new belt. But who is saying that? Is it the lover who is saying that, or is it the writer who is saying that to her lover, to his lover, or whatever? And so it's an invitation to do some mise en scène around it.
I mean, it's as you said, it's not one of the most recognized books by Philip Roth, and I think when you ask anyone what's your favorite Philip Roth, that never comes up, except for you.
Sorry. She's French, I know it's silly, because... No. But this one, what happened on this one, is that, on a previous film that I made, on Kings and Queen, I was practicing with Emmanuelle Devos, and I don't like to practice with my own lines, because I'm afraid to spoil them. I prefer to save them, for the real shooting when we'll have the camera.
You mean during rehearsals?
Yes, okay. Doing some sort of rehearsals. And so we played so it was shot on video, a stupid video like this, and we shot the epilogue of Deception. And Emmanuelle was the English lover, I was Philip. Don't be afraid. It was just a dirty shoulder frame, upon Emmanuelle. You couldn't see me in it. My acting was terrible. Though I did it. And after when the film was finished, Kings and Queen, as a DVD bonus on the French collector edition, they put this scene that we improvised, that we were just reading. We didn't learn the lines. We were just reading the lines. And there was something heartbreaking, as I think the epilogue of the film is heartbreaking. And it happened that this DVD with subtitles arrived on the desk of Philip Roth agent, and after that it happened that it arrived on Philip Roth desk. And one evening, and I think it was my anniversary this evening, Philip Roth called me. I didn't know him at all. He's God to me. And so I was with some friends, and I hang up, and I said, "Hi, Philip Roth speaking." I said, "Oh, sir," and he was saying, "Don't sir me, Arnaud." And I said, "Yeah, but I can't call you Philip, so Mister, don't Mister me." I was not, I was speaking with a stupid girly voice, and it was a nightmare. And he told me, "I saw what you did. And you should adapt the book into a film." I say, "Yeah, but it's quite complicated because it's a period piece. It's before the fall of the wall. You have to go in Czechoslovakia. You have to go in London. It's an English spoken film, etc." I say, "No, you don't get my point. Just do it like that." And in those days, it was 15 or 17 years ago. I thought, okay, the man is a genius. He knows everything about writing, about novels, about, essays, etc. But he doesn't understand a thing about cinema, so I was that stupid. And I was saying, yeah, but it won't work, because he said, no, you don't get it, just do it like that. And it took me 15 years to understand that he was absolutely right and that I was a fool, And that's how we did the film. To say, it's and I was thinking deeply about a film which was a great inspiration for this one, which is the opening of Vanya 42nd Street, which is a cult film for me, where you have Wallace Shawn, who was hanging around, on Broadway. He's entering into the theater, falling asleep, and when he awakes, he's Russian, and you are in Russia, and it's American actors playing Russian characters. It's the Chekhov play, and it was perfect. So I thought, why not? Actually, Roth was right, and I was absolutely wrong. You have to do it like that, absolutely light and improvise, almost as an improvisation.
So did you do a lot of work in adapting the text then, or like you have a weird process, but that's a little bit unusual compared to your previous work in terms of adapting a text and putting it in your own words. So can you talk about the process?
No. I wanted to be really absolutely faithful to the text. But I had to cut things. I mean, the book can be more disturbing here and there. And I think it wouldn't be fair in a film to be that disturbing, but that provocative, because I would feel you're in this dark theater, you would be my hostages, and I wouldn't like this idea that you would be hostage, So I think that you can't allow yourself what you can allow in a book, because in a book it's a free relationship, so it's not the same thing. And after that, we worked hard on. So we switched we reduced some scenes, we pick up a few scenes, etc. We changed the order of the scenes, and we had to build up the breakup of their relationship. Because in the book, which is wonderful, because that's how it happens in real life, you don't know when they are together and when they are not together any longer. You don't know the exact moment, And so reading the book, and I knew it by heart, because I was reading it since so many years and trying to adapt it and failing again. And I noticed that Philip has this trip in US where he's meeting Rosalie Nichols, his father, the student. And so when he's back, she thinks, okay, we have a love affair. He's in London, but one day or another we'll go back in Manhattan. And I will lose him. So I'd rather prefer to be the one who will break up our relationship, So that's the scene where he's giving her money and she can't accept it. And, and so that's the end of their love story. And after that, you have the epilogue.
Can you talk about working with the cast that you put together in the film? You worked with some of the actors before, but not all of them. So it's the same, like there's a continuity with your work, but there's also like an element of novelty. So can you talk about the challenge of assembling the cast? I imagine getting Léa Seydoux was not particularly easy. A lot of them work all the time, particularly Léa. Can you talk about that?
Léa Seydoux, usually I don't like to write to write for actors. I prefer to write for. I'm too superstitious, so I don't like that to write for living. So when we need to mention actors during the writing process, so we are just allowed to mention dead actors, so we know that they won't be in the film, so so it's Ingrid Bergman, being with Gregory Peck, we are allowed to say that, but not. But on this one, when I started it, I just did a film which was called Oh Mercy, Roubaix une lumière in French, with Léa Seydoux, and where she was playing a part wonderfully, but a part which was very far from what she is in real life. And on this one, I thought, no, now what I would like is to film, to record what she thinks, her insights, What is it to be a woman? What is it a woman when you think you are too old? What is it to be a woman when you think that you are too young? When you feel miserable, when you feel glorious, when you feel in love, when you feel bored, when you feel full of disgust of yourself, and I wanted to hear her voice, you know. So the film was really dedicated to her performance, you know. I wanted to play with Denis since a long time, you know, because Denis Podalydès is a famous actor in France. He's doing a lot of author films and popular films, but on screen usually directors give him parts smaller than life, you know, and on stage he's a very famous stage actor. He has parts bigger than life, you know, and I thought, okay, now came the time, you know, to see him bigger than life on the screen, you know. And the big thing for me, and that's where it was so unique with Denis, is that he's a wonderful writer. He wrote something like 4 or 5 books about acting, actors, but his prose is wonderful and so brilliant, and he knows something about what it is to be a writer. So, nobody's perfect, he's not Jewish. So I told him, okay, I will take care, I'm not Jewish neither, but I will take care of that part of the work, you know.
Oh, I thought you meant physically.
Sorry? Yeah. And so he could play the, and so I was acting in front of him in a very loudly way, you know, and he was, and so we were sharing the character. But with Léa, it was an absolutely different relationship, you know, because I wanted to listen to her voice, you know. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to make the film without Emmanuelle Devos, you know, because it was, you know, for so many reasons, because she's such an astonishing actress, you know. And that's it.
The scene for me with Emmanuelle Devos is nearly the heart of the film. It's a really beautiful moment, a really beautiful performance. But I didn't know that she was, you know, that she rehearsed before as the man.
As the lover, yes. Yeah. That's why I was so nervous, you know. It was really, I'm honest in front of you, you know, the evening when I wrote to her to propose her the part of Rosalie Nichols, I thought, okay, you know, more than a decade ago, we were playing The English Lover. You know, I was not able to adapt the film in these days. Today, I'm able to do it, and time has passed, you know, and she can't be the English lover any longer. So she will refuse the part. And so I had to write, you know, with all my heart, you know, and to speak about what we achieved together since 30 years, you know. It was a crucial moment for me. And I wrote to her, it's okay, fine, you can tell me, you can give me a no, and I won't do the film, it's fine. Don't feel any, I'm okay with that. And she called me, and she had this wonderful line. She had a laugh, and she said, obviously I accept the part of Rosalie Nichols, because I'm the only one who has a real story in your film, you know, because all the other ones talk. You know, I'm the only one who is doing something. I'm dying, for Christ's sake, you know. So I'm the main part. I'm the action in the movie. So I embrace that part, you know. And she was right. She's the heart of the movie.
Well, I'm glad you managed to get her. She also gave a really nice performance in the Clermont film. Like, I Want to Talk About Duras, and which I saw very close to one another, and I really, really love her in general. There's one theme that comes in your movies, no matter what inspiration you take. It's the shame, you know, and embarrassment, un peu la honte, and we find this in this one too. So is that something you feel comfortable to talk about?
It's strange, you know, because I think that truly in so many of my films, you know, the fact of feeling ashamed is part of what I am, and I love to see actors. You know, I love stage fright. You know, I love actors who have stage fright. You know, I think it's so human. You know, I don't like actors who are parading, you know, and who have no fear. You know, I think that fear is a feeling which is very human. You know, but what I love with Philip is the fact that he's shameless. You know, that and that he's never begging for any absolution. You know, I remember it's. Okay, it will be a nightmare for you, because it's a pun, but it's a pun in French. Oh, no. You know, when I saw Denis, he was saying to me, you know, but will I be able to be Philip Roth, because I admire him so much, I read all his books, etc. And Léa, how could I play the lover of Léa, etc., and we were discussing that. And he asked me, so what can you tell me about Philip? And I said in French, Philippe n'est pas gentil. Gentil means in French, nice. He's never nice. He's not begging for forgiveness or absolution or whatever, etc. But you can play with the words, because gentil means also gentile, So what I meant, he's a Jew, he's not begging for absolution, he doesn't need that, he doesn't need that, and that was very important, for me, That's the last scene, with his spouse, when he's saying, shame is not for writers, When you write, you go beyond that limit. You have to go beyond that limit.
I can see why that would really attract you to work on this. I have a little bit more of a technical question. I believe it's the first time you work with the cinematographer, Yuri Closso, who's wonderful. I mean, he worked a lot with Olivier Assayas. I think Claire Denis.
And he did the wonderful Jim Jarmusch movie, Only Lovers Left Alive. He did the delicious film, which is Little Woman. No, isn't it Little Woman? Yeah.
It's just Little Woman. Yeah, Little Woman.
Ouais, Little Woman.
I thought you said 4 Little Women.
No, just Little Woman.
There are 4, but just Little Woman. The Greta Gerwig film.
The Greta Gerwig movie, yeah.
We are talking about the same one. It's good. So, can you talk about the collaboration with?
The collaboration was wonderful. We know each other since it's a question of friendship. We know each other since 20 years, and I know he knows my admiration. I think he likes my film. So, we needed to work, and this time he was available. Usually, Olivier is making so many films, he's always busy, Plus his work in US, it's a nightmare to catch him, But this time it was a post-COVID movie, so he was available. Fine, let's do something, And I had to propose him. You could say that it's very dry, because it's just a man and a woman in an office speaking. So what can you do visually, And looking at the map of the story that I draw, on my computer, I realized that one could say, at the beginning, she's not that happy. She's dealing with despair. They don't have sex any longer at this moment of the film, during the beginning of it, She's quite melancholic. She's thinking, I'm losing my time, etc. And it's autumn, And after that, the passion comes back. And it's absolute love. It's perfect moment. It's when they are, having sex under the snow, etc., etc. And it's winter. And after that, he has this trip in US. He starts to be bitter, and he's going to the end of their relationship. And it's spring, when you have all the flowers, and the nature's coming back, etc. And after that, you have the epilogue, and it's summer, and they're absolutely desperate. And I love the fact that the pace of the seasons were the contrary of the pace of the feelings improved by the two characters. That's what I proposed him, that's what I proposed to Yorick. And he worked with that, with that idea.
He's a wonderful cinematographer, and I'm really glad this little pandemic worked out for you in terms of getting Léa Seydoux and Yorick Closso and Denis Podalydès. You're a very lucky man.
Yeah.
Because I also know you're working on another film, but you managed to squeeze this one in. You need translation?
No, I don't
not
speak
me.
English,
It's
and
only,
I'm deaf, because I'm old, so that's why,
Okay, can you say a word about the music? Because that is always the same collaborator, Grégoire Herzl. So can you, I guess he was available during the pandemic also?
Grégoire Herzl, no, but usually, with my collaboration with Grégoire Herzl, who composed so many films for me, is, I'm harassing him with the other composer that I love, So I come with a guide track. I say, okay, remember Herman, remember Howard Shore. Could you remember Johnny Greenwood? Could you remember Georges Delrue? And, And so it's unfair, you know, and I'm torturing him with all these guys, Takemitsu, all these composers that I adore. But this time, you know, I came to him, and on the guide track, there was just pieces coming from our collaboration. I say, for once, I don't want you to imitate other composer. I want you to compose a pure Grégoire Helsel score. You know, so you have to imitate yourself. So he felt more free, you know, and that way it was. I just love the score, which is so warm and tender. Yeah, and it was important for me to have this song opening the film and closing the film. You know, composed by Billy Strayhorn, the wonderful pianist. You know, the Lotus Blossom, which is opening and concluding the film, and that was it.
Can you talk a little bit more about the theme of unfaithfulness? Unfaithful, yeah.
I think that the big thing in real life, I think, but perhaps in films too, is to be faithful to yourself. You know, it's not, you know, is he lying to Anouk Grimbert or not? You know, I don't think he's lying. I think at one point he saw, you know, when I'm looking at the film, you know, he's so convincing when he's lying to his wife that I think, wow, he invented that affair. He never had an affair with Léa Seydoux. It was not possible. He didn't have the time, etc. So I'm desperate, you know, because when I can see them in the last scene, you know, together, we know that they won't have an affair any longer. That is done. It's finished. Mm-hmm. And I think it was so beautiful because they were a perfect match, you know. And so I think that you can discover something about yourself in a relationship. What I loved in the book is, you know, is usually, and I'm afraid to speak about that topic in US, you know, but Philip Roth can be considered as a chauvinist or misogynistic, or we know, you know, after My Life as a Man, you know, or the books like that, you know, or the polemics. And this is not at all my goal, you know, but not at all. And I think that he's listening to this woman. He's listening to them. And usually another novelist would have asked to a heroine, let's say Flaubert would have asked, commit suicide and then you will be in my book, you know. Or Tolstoy would have asked, you know, okay, jump under a train and you will be in my book, you know. Or Thomas Hardy would have said, you know, if you kill someone, you know, then you are my heroine, you know. And, you know, and here you have a woman who's saying, I have a problem with my cervix. And the guy is saying, it's so fascinating. You are my heroine. You know, I want to depict you. I embrace the humble feelings which are crossing your mind, you know, and that's what I love with all these characters, you know, the Czech girl, you know, which is saying, you know, I don't fit to the place that they gave me in London, you know. I know that it's incorrect in English, this one. I don't fit to I don't remember the subtitle in English. You know. Je ne suis pas à ma place ici, pas du tout. Yeah, I don't feel at my place here. And I think that it's a line that you could give to all the characters in the film. None of them find the right place, how to be on earth, you know, how to belong to a world, you know. The Czechoslovakian director is so bitter, you know, the spouse feels betrayed, you know, Rosalie Nichols is dying in an hospital, you know, and the English lover has this husband that she doesn't love. She has a stupid job. She was not that keen on being a mother. So they are all, you know, this place. And the only one who found a place to be on earth is the writer while he is in office and writing. That's the only utopia that the film can give you, you know. That's the only place where you are yourself. And I think that to have an affair is a question of being faithful to yourself, to your dream, to your childhood, to you as an adolescent. And so it's not betraying, you know. That's perhaps it's a very French thing, no? It's a thing that I say once to my girlfriend. She bursts in laugh. I say, yeah, but sleeping together is not cheating. You say, are you sure? Say, yeah, I'm positive. You know, it's just to have an affair. It's not unfair. It's just, it happens. It happens.
You have a beautiful way of defending certain traits in male characters and putting a really beautiful spin on a feministic, point of view. And I think only you can get away with it. Because it's something that we've seen in many of your films, and it's, even when you take the male point of view, there's a lot of femininity and understanding that cuts the harshness that could come with this.
But I think that what moves me is the fact that he's such a good listener, an audiophiliac, as he says in the film, I think. All these women who have their own suffering can recover their pride. They can conquer their self. And it's not. And I love the line, at the end of the, because obviously the writer is a egomaniac, So at the end of the book, at the end of the film, he's saying, okay, she's saying, I will write a book about you. You say, okay, what would you be? You would be Nausicaa. You would be. And she said, no, I would be Homer. She's the writer of her own story. And that's what I love in Philip Roth writing. Is that he's not an artist on a pedestal with the characters quite humble, and looking at him and admiring him. Philip Roth in his life and his work did dare to go down from the pedestal of the artist and to live amongst his characters. And that's what I love, with that, and to have fight arguments, to be unfair, stupid, ridiculous, and to live with these characters. And that's where I took such a great lesson with him, and that's why he has been so important in my life, and if I may just add that, when I've been, after the cinema school, I realized that I didn't find my voice, that I didn't have a voice at all. And I read, for snobbish reasons, I never read Philip Roth novel, because they were too popular and I was too snobbish. So very late in my life, I was 25, 26, so okay, I will read Portnoy's Complaint. Okay. It's a bestseller, but I will read it. And I read it, and I remember how loudly I laughed, in the room where I was reading it. It was so scandalous, it was so outrageous, it was so comical. It was not noble. It was, and I realized that in all these books, all the stories started or finished or had a moment, in Newark, And I thought, okay, Arnaud, now you have to stop to pretend that you are from Paris, you are from Roubaix, so all your films have to happen in Roubaix, That's a start, that's solid, that's something, You just have
You trademark.
Yeah. And also what I love, in this relationship that Philip can have with this woman and with the book that he's writing is the fact that he's using himself as a material. And when you are a composer, you have notes and you can hide behind your notes. When you are a painter, you have a brush, and so you can hide behind your colors. But when you are an actor, you have nothing but yourself as a material. And this is what Philip Roth invented in literature, is to use yourself and to be to yourself your own material. And I think it's just astonishing.
He's a very difficult writer to adapt. A lot of people have tried. Were you intimidated, at that point, or just okay, I'm going for Philip Roth?
I'm not a great fan of the adaptations that I saw. Yeah, I'm sorry to say it. None of them.
Okay, but this okay.
None. You will mention, the TV series, that he produced, not even that one, and. But because there is a trick in his literature, which is the fact that you can't adapt. The beginning of My Life as a Man, it begins with a novel, and after that you have the critic of the novel, and after that you have the third chapter, etc. In the Counter Life, it's the same idea, and so it's so complex that on screen you can't put that complexity, on screen. But this book being so tiny and being so modest, I could find the way to adapt these things which are so pure literature, You know, because the book was humble, it was possible to adapt it on screen. You remember the line of Hitchcock, who was saying you should never adapt a novel, you should adapt a short story, it's better.
I mean, yes. Is it something you're going to do again? To adapt?
Roubaix in Lumière was already an adaptation of a documentary piece. And
like it wasn't a text like this.
Oh, a text like this, I did it for stage twice with the Strindberg and with the Kushner's Angels in America. And but the new film I'm working on is an original material. And it's shot in Roubaix, sorry.
we love Roubaix. It's very exotic for us. I just want to see if anyone wants to say something. There's someone here, yes. So it's a question about being able to adapt the humor from Philip Roth.
I remember, I just can tell you one story, which is a gift that I received, you know, is now I'm still not rehearsing with the actors before the shooting, but I have a flat reading of the text. So I'm overacting all the characters. I don't gather all the actors together, you know, it's each one of them separately. And so when I was reading the text with Denis Podalydès, I was playing the part, he was listening to me, and I was saying, now it's your turn, and you have to read it very flat, very, very low voice, and that's it. And he was taking notes, and using some of my impros, and rejecting what he didn't like in my impros. And we came to the intermarriage scene, you know, with the father. And I said, I apologized in front of Denis, saying, you know, oh, this scene is too long, the dialogue is clumsy, it will be a bore for the audience, you know, it can't work, etc. So I will try to give you a reading of it, you know, but it will be bad, you know. And I did it terribly. I was really terribly bad, you know. It was bad acting. And I just heard Denis, you know, raising his finger and saying, may I try? You know, and he took the scene and he started embraced it, and he had lines. He started to improvise about that, you know, because he could remember all the dates of the wars in Israel, etc., etc. So he was developing the scene. I said, it's so good that you won't do it once, you will do it twice. In front with Léa, you know, and once in front with your father, André Umansky. And it was absolutely hilarious, yeah.
Do you want to say one word about the next film? Or is it too early for you to talk about it?
It's too early. I didn't shot the epilogue, you know, so I still do not know what the film is about. You know, I have an inch, you know, but an intuition about what the film is about, you know, but, you know, missing the epilogue, I can't say, you know. But I know that it's something about this film, about deception that I love in it, you know, is the fact that regarding this time and all this complexity and all the wonderful progress that we had since the Me Too movement, you know, and all these things, etc., is to show it with a laugh, you know. And I love the trial scene, you know, because at last, you know, you can laugh about it, you know, about that, the fact that we, you know, between men and women, between men, between women, we will all disagree forever, and that's a good news. That's a wonderful news, you know. And so, but I think that the whole film is un éloge, pardon, j'ai oublié. Comment est-ce qu'on dit un éloge? No, analogy, yeah, analogy, you know, of, you know, all these women recovering their voice through the attention of this writer, you know. And I think that's why we made this film together. That's it.
Thank you so much, Arnaud.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone.